trouble making your own stock? This is how I do it. Hey, we're back at the amateur machine shop. We're working on another project. We're making another part. This part is called a VSS, vehicle speed sensor ring. Similar to this vehicle speed sensor ring. It's got 16 teeth on it. So we've got a lot of programming to do to get the tool paths right for this and to use the CAD. We're in the CAD program for this part. We're in the manufacturing now, and here's our part. So there's some difficulties making this part. First of all, I want to show people how to make their own odd size stock. Here's the stock we're using to make this ring like this, and we're in this stock. Instead of using a solid piece of stock, we're using a ring of stock. So you can't program that in your stock setup without making your own odd size stock, and that's can be difficult. This one's pretty simple ring. So what we'll do in design, let's go back and get to the sketch for this part. Let's edit this sketch. Okay, here's our sketch. Now we made this part first with extrusion. And then we made a copy. I mentioned before in my videos, you want to make a copy right away of your part so you can change it a lot and not change your part at all. You can change the copy. Then we're going to use a plane. We have to make a offset plane on top of this part in order to make our own odd shaped stock. And then we have to extrude our stock. So our sketch is right. Our sketch is okay. We like our sketch. So we'll finish that. Here's what I mean. Here's my stock. If I turn my stock on, we have to make a piece of stock in order to go over this, which will turn into a body. That's my sketch for my stock. And then we'll wind up with a body. And there's our stock. It's a one piece. There's our part inside of our stock. And we have to make this stock in order to make this part in our setup. So I want to show you how to do that, how I did that. And let's go through this. So we have our part. We'll turn off this sketch. So we have to make an offset plane on here. And if you want to construct this, we have to make an offset plane right here. An offset plane. We're going to do this again. And it comes up and says select your surface. I'm making an offset plane on this surface. Okay, and now we're gonna look at it from the front. Now there's no distance on that plane. That plane is on here and it's touching our part. We want to go, I want to cut 50,000 off the top of this part, so I want to move my stock up 50,000 on that. So we're going to put a positive number in here, 0.05. Watch that jump up. Now that's 50,000. We're going to say okay to that. There's our offset plane. Now we have to make a sketch on that offset plane. I've already made a sketch. So let me highlight my sketch right there. So we're going to make another sketch. It won't hurt. I'll delete this later. We create a sketch on our plane. We have to, we want to do this on this plane. So you can just select that, grayed out. That's our plane. So we're making a sketch on our plane now. As you can see, I think we're making a sketch on our plane. And we have to have our sketch open, as you can see here, because I need this center point. You got to use your sketch in the background to have this center point. So we're going to make a circle to make our stock is simple. This stock is simple. We don't have to do a projected. Projected is a lot more difficult. This is 2.225. Enter. And we make the outside diameter of our stock is 3.25. Enter that. Okay, there's our, this should be 50,000 above our part. See that? That's 50,000 above our part. Now we need to extrude this. Offset plane. So we can hit E for extrude, and we want to select something. We got to select this plane that we just made. We want to go down 1 inch. That's a negative 1.0. And let's say okay to that. I think we got it. Maybe not. Let's see what we got here. So we should have had another body. So we got to open this back up. Here's our extrusion down here in our timeline. I don't know why that didn't take. We'll edit the feature on this. Okay, here's why we're not cutting. The operation is to make a new body. There it is. I know it didn't look right. And hit OK. Okay, notice right away we've got another body over here, body 4. These are both stock. We'll call it stock 2 because I've already got a stock. So there's our stock inside of our part. Now if we can turn our sketches off, my body, I turn the appearance on my body to be light blue so you can see it better. I like it like this, and you go to your appearance and set this. Now theoretically this is what we have. This is right? We got our ring inside of our theoretical piece of stock, and now that's how you make that. So in your timeline you've got down here a plane, offset plane. You make a sketch on top of your offset plane and you extrude it. In this case that was easy because we had to have 2 circles is all. Some other parts I'll show you is much more difficult with angles and so on. You have to do, it's a lot more difficult, trust me. So I was on a roll with this. This was hard enough. So now you can go to setup and do whatever you have to do here. Even, let's see, we'll go to manufacture this. And we'll go to my setup. We'll edit this setup. Okay, so you want to use the top of the center of your stock. You want to use the top of your stock, and of course you want to do a probe in the center of your stock, and this is the top of the stock. See that? So there's a good choice. I move my origin to the middle top of my stock. And I will do a bore probe and find this. And now you're able to set up. That setup is perfect to begin. We'll hit cancel. We don't want to change anything in this stock, this setup. And here's what I've done. I used an 3D adaptive. Imagine making your own toolpath to cut that out. You could. It might take too long. Why not just use a 3D adaptive, and when the computer figured it all out, you can change a few things. So it's going to cut the whole part out in one operation, and I set it to have no stock left. I just want to make these parts, and let's go look at this part. This part is in the machine. Yesterday we cut this part and stopped for the day. So here we have it. Here we have the part. So we cut that out of our stock, and I've got that in my super mega vise. You can take a quick look at this mega vise I keep bragging about. It is so useful. It'll go all the way down to a 3-inch piece of stock, round stock in there. So we've made that out of our round stock. Set it up quick in the mega vise, which is the most useful vise a shop could ever have. Then we put our stock in there, and there it is. We made that part in one program. So I'm ready to do the second operation on it, I think. Once I checked my setup was perfect. I've got the travel distance on the machine. I've set it a couple times to get it perfect. The travel distance seems to be perfect on my machine. This is let's say 361 or something, 261. In other words, what I'm trying to say is this is exactly as CAD. This has to slide over a wheel hub. The 3D adaptive leaves a funny hexagon looking shapes, but the most I can get out of this is 246 by playing with it. 2458, 2459, 246 at the most, and that's what the calls for 2459, and that's what it is. That's amazing accuracy with the machine calibrated for the machine travel perfectly. Okay, that's it for now. I wanted to show us how to do that. Make your own stock. The main thing is making your own stock is very, very difficult until you do it a few times, until you understand. We'll go back and open this. I want to show you something. Edit the setup. Here in your stock, you might be wondering, I forgot to say, from a solid, we chose from a solid is what you do, and then you have to go choose the solid you want. Otherwise, it's going to think that you're using a round piece of bar. I mean, they don't have this, and you can't move this. You can't move this. You have no choice to move this. That's why I put this down 50,000. I put this down 50,000. If you want to cut this, you have to set this up in your design with the offset of your offset plane. Because if you want this to be deeper toward the bottom of this stock, you have to do that in your plane. You have to go back to the offset plane to change that. You don't have any choice in your setup to do this. That's the main thing about doing all this. Okay, I hope that helps you out there some. Don't be afraid to get into machining and make yourself some parts. If I can do it, you can do it too. We'll be back with this project when we do the second operation. Okay, back at the amateur machine shop. We have another project going on. There's a lot of different situations here with this part. As you can see, it's made out of a round milling bar. That's different. You can buy that to make a gear. We'll call this a gear. This is a band gear we're making for a vehicle speed sensor ring. So we're going to learn how to put custom stock, make your own odd shaped custom stock in Fusion 360 and so on. But at first I want to get this first 3D Adapt toolpath going. I think we're ready to start cutting. So I think we're good. That looks right. We'll show you later in the first video coming up the toolpath and the simulation. We're cutting not too deep. That looks pretty deep, but there should be 150 thousandths depth of cut. That in the toolpath, it doesn't. That took some extra touches of that. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. See if it takes 2 more pecks at it at the very end. Oh well. Supposed to be cutting them all the same. They're made with a circular pattern, so they are the same. The radius is big enough in these teeth. Cut it all with the 1/4 inch. Cut going. Yeah, a second, we'll see. Another thing, I'm cutting 3D adaptive clearing here. Difficult toolpath, I just chose 3D adaptive. And I'm going to cut 50,000 off the top here now too, I think. touching up some things. That's strange. Gonna have to do that 4 times. We'll go over all that when we get a chance to. It's funny, it's touching it up here and there, and then it'll cut the top off anyway. 3D Adaptive does some funny things. I did find out how to stop a lot of extra retracts and travel. Also, if you have too many retracts and travels from pocket to pocket, always on the menu, finish each pocket before it moves on. Look at that, right around there. You have to get amazed at the accuracy of these tool paths. I'm only cutting 30,000. Width of cut 30,000. Depth of cut 150,000. That's straight from the linear system. Speed suggestion chart. I don't feel like pushing this part right now. It works good. Okay, we'll come back when we get more about this tool path. For now, turn this off. We'll be back. The vehicle speed sensor ringing. We're back in the second operation. Cutting off the hat on this VSS ring. It's a 3/8 pin mill. This is 4140 steel. We're cutting slowly, cutting 18 inches a minute. 50,000 width of cut, 200,000 depth of cut. Sounds pretty good. No coolant for cutting dry. Let's see how this goes a minute. Let me see if that's the right feed and speed. It sounds good. Then we'll check some. Let's check some chips. That should be it. Take a look, quick look. I know it's a long video, but that's a very interesting cut. That's a cut you're going to have to make on 4140. Don't know how it cut off an awful thick ring. I don't know how it cut that thick of a ring off. I think it broke it off. I don't know. Let's see. 3D Adapt. Right down to 00 stock to leave. Using a 3D Adaptive. Right down to a rough part, I'm calling it. Okay, let's get off this video. It's getting too long here. We'll come back when we get more on the... Well, we may have this part finished. I may not try to finish these parts really well, and I don't know. We've got to see how it fits first. Okay, from the machine shop, amateur machine shop, that's another... It's another new cut. Cutting 4140 steel. we're gone for now.